Hello everybody. So today's video is just a short one on the channel as such as it is and what's going on and what I'm thinking of doing. Obviously there's a lot you can do in lock sport and I've only been doing it for about 8 months or so and I'm getting there. It's fun. I'm still enjoying it. I'm getting more into it. The channel is kind of an accidental byproduct of just a bit of that. Obviously, there is the shorter content where you take something like this and you put it to some funky music and you just go like that and it opens. It's cool. But I ain't made a locks. I've got about 20 or 30 so far that sat behind me in a little caddy. You can only do that with so many of them. I'm not going to be doing it with like an 1100. And, you know, that's not really the point. I mean, it's fun. I never get bored of doing it with that lock, but it's not the point. So I'll do those as much as I've got them. The other things that I'll be doing is stuff like the Squire's Stronghold lock. I did a video about this recently. As I just come across fun locks, I will do videos like that. I've got some planned, although I haven't done them yet, to do something with these love locks. They're basically just 7240s that are painted fun. So yeah, there's going to be some other stuff coming in about locks themselves and single pin picking, gutting videos and taking a look at them and the standard sort of thing. And then the other side of stuff that I'm getting into at the moment is making some tools. And with this is bra underwire. This was my first attempt at working in what you would call like old school like shop. I mean, I haven't done it since I was at school and that's been a while. So my metalwork, my woodwork is all very rudimentary, but I inherited a lot of tools as great-grandparents died, and so I got the space. I've got a bunch of tools. I might as well learn to use them, and this is a good use as any to sort of enjoy myself, and I have been enjoying it. But this was the first thing I made. It was supposed to be a deep hook, and it is just a formless blob, really. And I'm going to leave it like that because although I have now got better with the tools, this is a good reminder of that first thing I tried to make. What I did do was go back and refine the short hook because that looked exactly the same. But I realized that if I put a sanding wheel on my Dremel just here and then just here and shaped the end, which I was actually really happy with how the end came out, you get this accidental McTickler profile from just pushing down twice. That works really nicely, and that is a functional pick. The curve is a little much, but it is a functional pick. I did attempt a snake rake because I love a snake rake. I don't think we can call this a success. It does actually do the job. Should I be brave and attempt it? Yeah, why not? Why not? Might as well do it whilst we're talking. It does work. And then what I found was that actually if you turn it over, there is a little bit of a hook on it that does, you know, it got a lock open. All of these could get the master lock open, and whilst that's probably not the world's best benchmark, that means they work. So great. This rake, that actually isn't as pronounced as I would like, but there is enough of a bump profile for that to be an effective tool. I'm going to regret trying this again now, but we'll give it a go. I don't think that's actually locked. Cylinder's not clicked in. Let's try that again. Thought that felt a bit strange. And then the same thing with this. You can turn it over and you can sort of try and feel for that pin that I didn't set properly. And that hasn't worked, which is deeply annoying. Let's try that again. There it is. I don't know whether it's my technique or not. I'm going to assume it's my technique, but with raking and zipping, what I find, and it's probably my angle of attack, but I'm really good at setting like these three, and then the first, like maybe pin 1 or pin 2 doesn't quite get it. I think you just have to go in and just touch it and it opens. I think it's just the angle of how I do it. Anyway, not the point. The point of this video, and I was very proud of this turning tool until I realized that I put a fault line just here, and I did snap one. But they're so pretty, the curve on these, and they were really ergonomic to use, but yeah, I did not do those well, but it is pretty. So like the first pick, he is going to live there as a museum piece and just be like, yes, that is where I started. And I've got some feeler gauge, and I've been using that to make my first proper half tang pick. And I have just recently had a delivery of some stock, and that is going to go to making some full tang picks once I've got better at this. So yeah, I think actually I just want to have a look in there again. I haven't opened this yet because it came yesterday. Huh, there are actual individual picks in here that are, oh, that's going to be nice. I didn't realize that that was going to potentially be in this. Is there any more? I'm now doing a full opening of this. I did not expect that. Lovely. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of metal, which is slightly greasy, but never mind. I knew that was going to be the case. And 4 picks. Now, obviously, I've got some of these proper, and you can see that they are finished. There's actually multiple handles to this. This is actually just one thin piece. But that's really useful because I can just make some handles for that and practice on my woodworking. Well, that is a good find in the middle of that. So, yeah, that's where we're going with this. And this I'm going to leave until I've got a bit better with my woodwork and my metal work. I'm going to use the feeler gauge for a little bit. The first pick profile is being made, and I shaped the outlines of the handles and everything. So we're at the polishing stage and the actual pick itself, and I want to try and get that as shiny as humanly possible, because that should be a fairly easy win. And yeah, I'll be back with some more videos later, but thank you for staying with me, and hope you all have good days.